Hey guys, Bryan here. Today's task is we're putting in another cord road. So we did some cord road on the other side of the property, on sort of the central west side, where we had to, getting to the creek, we had to lay a bunch of cedars and build a bridge, and then get on the other side with the cedars up into the hardwoods where it's a lot drier and higher. So today we're on the east side of the property, and we're going to be looking at a certain section here which I haven't been able to get through with machinery, because it's just too boggy in this spot. It's kind of like a spring area. So we have a lot of windfall here with some cedars, and so cedars are good to use because not only do they take so long to rot, but they're pretty tough as well. They can stand up to a beating, and quite frankly, there's a lot of them falling over in here. This forest is in transition right now, and it's kind of graduating to some more mature forested tree species. So lots of cedars, and they're perfect for the job. We'll cut them up, and today's task will just be cutting them up. I don't have enough time to do the entire road today. I'm not really sure what it's like in heaven, but I'm pretty sure it's similar to how it feels when you cut your first tree with a new chain. So I found a pretty nice set of windfall here with these cedars, and it's pretty nice, nice tree. It's nice and straight. Gonna use that one, probably get 4 or 5 sections out of it. Now, the one thing I'm doing here though is I'm kind of marking off roughly where I need before I cut it all up. So in this case, this is a nice little surprise, I guess, to be able to get a log like this off the ground, like it's just sitting up in the air. But you want to do this right so that it just minimizes the amount of energy you're putting into it. So I started at the base of the tree with what I feel like I can use and lift and handle. Made a mark here, so it's still attached, but I just made a mark. And then I was able to kind of go the appropriate distances of where I think I'm going to need the right distance to span it. But the reason I'm doing this is because if I was to start down there and do my first cut and cut right through the tree, then it's going to tumble on the ground. Then I got to wrestle around with the log on the ground, and it's just got to bend over and pick it up and everything. If I mark it off like this though, and then I'll start at the other end of the tree and I'll cut my sections, then I'm not only am I using sort of the weight of the tree to hold the load, but it'll fall off on one, and then I can just pick it up and move it out of the way as I go, and I won't get bogged down in the sort of the softer ground down here. So it's just it took me a lot of trees to figure this kind of stuff out, but it's just sort of minimizing the work a little bit and saving your back, because it's not easy. It's hard labor, but I appreciate it. It's good, honest work, and makes you feel like you're alive, right? So anyway, just a little tip there. I've got one pile of logs that you see in the foreground there, then another one a little further on there, as you can see. And I had done this one back in the winter when this tree had come down here. So I'm gonna just start actually rolling it out, and just to get an idea of how far along I can go. I'll probably start the trail right here where the descent starts into the low spot, and just use the smaller stuff here to kind of get up, for the machines to get up easily on it. And then I'll use the big thick stuff as we get into that bog out there, and then taper it back again to the smaller stuff as we kind of clear through the bog. So let's take a look at how this goes. Okay, so we took a slight detour here. As you can see, I'm a little worse for wear. I've been well, if you can see behind me, I've filled in all that bog with a bunch of wood, just like dead stuff, offcuts, all that kind of stuff, just to give it a bit more structure when I'm going to put all the other pieces across horizontal. And basically that'll just let it all sort of settle in nice and level, so that it doesn't cave too far to one side. And got a little muddy for it and everything too, but Anyway, so I've put a bunch in there, which I wasn't originally going to do, but I'm going to do it now. So, or I have done it now. So now I'll pull the geomat out a bit, and there's a little bit, not quite as much as I thought, because Janelle was using it for her garden, and so I got to kind of use it wisely. So anyway, I'm going to pull it back, put some of the actual true legitimate cord road logs on now, and that stuff it'll just give it a bit of structure. Eventually it's just going to sink or rot or deteriorate and stuff. So at any rate, I'll put this cord road together now. Hello, so it's a week later. That's what I got done last time. I think today I'm just going to concentrate on this. There we go. On this first part right here where my hand's going back and forth. I've only got a couple hours, and so I'm going to need to be pretty quick and pretty efficient. I'll just concentrate on the trees on this side of the bog that are windfall and kind of falling over or dying, and then probably some other day I'll go do the other side when I get the chance. So just a little catch up. Okay, so here's today's progress. If you can believe it, that was a hour and a half, 2 hours worth of work there to get all that in there, delimb the trees, cut them up into the right sections. You can tell that they're different lengths all over the place, and that's just because there was already some old stuff I had laid here at one point, so I was matching it up with that, which is not the best scenario because it's not straddling the whole trail at that point, but it'll do for now. I'm not going to pick through all that mud. And then as you get further out here, I'm spanning the entire gap of the ruts that were already there with these long ones, but as I get into the shorter ones here, what I'm doing here is cutting them shorter and sitting them inside of the big rut that was here, because I've got those willow trees underneath, and if I go any higher, it's going to be all uneven based on these ones. So trying to do somewhat of a level pattern, so that if you're coming through here with a load, it's not too bumpy or hilly or anything, and you can kind of just get through relatively stable. So next time I'll probably next weekend, I guess, I will grab some bigger cedars and start to pull this together, get to the end of the geomat, and maybe a little bit further just to get us on our way. Chirps about my wardrobe, because I have about 4 or 5 different outfits I've wore through the course of this video. Basically I've been at this for a couple months, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, but it's done now. It's in a spot where the gator can come through and carry some loads and not get stuck, not get the winch out, not get you know, lose a bunch of time on a Saturday afternoon because you're just trying to get the gator out of the mud. So it'll also double that people can walk through here now without getting their boots too wet and things like that. So it just opens up the access to the property, which is always nice. This is the third cord road we have on the property now, and again, it's just been opening everything up and being able to use the whole acreage, which has been nice. But I mentioned the gator coming through here with fence posts, and the reason I say that is because I'm holding one in my hand. This is one that I was cutting up a tree for the cord road, but I thought it's just too perfect of a fence post. And the reason I'm saying that is because we're going to build a fence around Janelle's garden here as one of our future episodes. So stay tuned for that. But this one basically comes to a close, and in no time at all I'll be driving the gator across here, or the ATV or the snowmobiles or whatever, so not having to worry about getting it stuck in the bog. So thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.